Welcome back to Conversations with Mel and Brent. If you've been following us, this is our third part to the series of me sharing my story, and this segment is really this is the awesome part to share with you. This is the transformation part. This is the beautiful part behind why it's important to do this inward work, and really. By speaking my truth, by going through the process of healing, how I feel more alive in my life than I have ever felt before.
Yeah, and I can see that in you, and that's amazing for me to experience that, and even your interaction with other people, how people are drawn and gravitate to you now, almost like you have something they want. It's a bizarre thing. We talked about your trauma story in the second part here, and just the immense effect it had on us and the severity of it. But as people, we sort of like to try to measure trauma. We put it on a scale of this is really bad and that's not as bad. Mm-hmm. But something you shared with me, that as you read and you studied trauma more, our brains don't necessarily think of that or have that scale.
Mm-hmm. And simply put, I think, trauma cannot be compared. And a mentor of mine talks about trauma simply being the separation from safety. And we often associate that trauma is around, post-traumatic events like war or really big physical accidents or sexual abuse or things like that. So they don't ever consider that, I haven't gone through any kind of trauma because it doesn't look like that. But trauma really is just separation from safety. And in that moment, if that is not released from your body, we have a process, I guess, that we go through subconsciously, and we create limiting beliefs. And then we create stories that support these limiting beliefs and begin to live our lives out of this survival pattern, which really isn't healthy patterns for us. And even though they might have happened in that blueprint age from 0 to 8, they continually to live out in our lives, decades and decades later. Mm-hmm. Because really from that age from 0 to 8 is where you're making, a lot of big decisions in regards to your perceptions in life.
Right.
And how your needs aren't being met, and if you're worthy, if you're valuable, if you have a voice, if you're important, all of these things.
Right. So that's really why this part's so exciting, because it's about having that voice. It's about people realizing that, you know what, even though I think I had a normal life, somewhere in there I've experienced something that could be, to my brain, traumatic.
Right.
So working through that and giving people the courage to, ask those questions, the why questions, get to the root, like you talked about in video 1, where, why do I think this way? Why am I experiencing these symptoms in my body? Mm-hmm. I don't perceive myself this way, but I'm reacting this way.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the most impactful things through this was, because of the trauma that I went through, I lived very disconnected from myself. And through the healing process, that was healed. And I am, in my body, feeling my emotions. And being connected with myself, it has also allowed the capacity to be connected to the Lord. And in that beautiful connection, you are able to come into alignment with your purpose and really feel free and really feel, energized and purposeful. Like, okay, this feels right. It just brought so much clarity, I guess.
Right. There's a completeness. Like you talk about, you talk about body, soul, and spirit, and having that spiritual connection, whatever it is for somebody, was so big for you to feel that completeness.
Mm-hmm. And another thing I want to say, because I am such a let's go in, let's get her done, and let's get out. But trauma doesn't work like that. You have to go at the pace your body wants to go. And when I had the suppressed memory surface and the awareness came, I was like, okay, now this makes sense. And I thought, oh, I'm done. But the truth is, the awareness was really the beginning of the healing and the work. There is work to heal. You can have memories of trauma, or you could have had suppressed memories like I did, but really now the work begins. And when I found out, okay, oh my gosh, I've stored all this trauma in my body, I just want to get it all out as fast as I can get, and I just want to be free. But I found in not listening to my body again or pushing myself to go through that, it became, too much for me to handle. And so I've always trusted my intuition to lead me in the right ways in what I need at the moment. And one of the things actually that really helped me was meditating. But also I taught myself many different forms to heal, and I just did it intuitively. And then I would read books and I would like, oh, that's called psychosomatic healing, or that's called somatics experiencing, or conscious breath work. I did all of these things intuitively because they were coming up.
Felt natural to you.
Yeah, it was like birthing something. Your body just knew what to do, and then you read a book and you realize, oh, there's actually a clinical term for that. So that was really cool. But another thing was the journey is learning how now, because there's this pattern, when it is triggered, how do you pivot and respond and give your central nervous system different evidence? Right. And so I think it's important to state that this isn't just a one-time good to go event. This is about learning the way you were programmed, and then learning how to reprogram to truth at your stage in your life right now. And we actually just took in a breath workshop this weekend, and I pretty much knew going into this breath workshop what was going to come out, because I knew what was inside of me, and I know it's a journey to get it out of me. And and you were lying right beside me, and so we go into a conscious state of breathing, of just natural breathing, and the trauma began to come out. And I guess, how was that for you, lying beside me?
Oh.
In a group. It was a group setting. That was the first time I've ever done that.
Well, some of that sounds like, I knew when Melanie went back to the memory again, and just having that panic that you had, or the hearing you go into that mode of scared as a little child. I wanted to help you. I wanted to be there to protect you, and I knew that now I know that it's your part, that it's where you have to use your power and reclaim that part of you. Funny I said reclaim you. That's kind of a little plug for where you're going now with your coaching business, and reclaiming you. And it's really so much about what it is for people, though, too. It's reclaiming you, and it's not a one and done thing, like you said. It's, what do you want to get out of your life? Where do you want to take it? How much of you do you want to reclaim to be the best version of you that you feel you can be? Right. So that's exciting.
That's super exciting. And I'm just of the opinion, that we are spirit, and that we have a soul, and we're living out this journey in our bodies. And if we're going to decide that we want to heal dynamics of our life, we can't just segregate and just say, I just want to heal the body, because we are body, soul, spirit. And so my coaching is really revolved around all of those aspects, because I don't think that you can just take out a part and only heal, a part of self, when we are a 3-part being.
Right.
And, when I coached before, I think that was the frustration that I came against. It was never about health. It was never about diet or exercise or losing weight. It was, generally those things were the symptom, self-soothing to a limiting belief or a wound, an inner child wound. I just didn't know how to access at that particular time when I was coaching. But now I feel with what I've gone through personally, and I've come out with like a roadmap, I believe, that can help others feel free in all areas and really reclaim you, reclaim what you want, reclaim the areas in your life where it feels dead. And
it's like you said before, where you take your power back.
right.
And when you take that power back, there's so much more you can give to others. I think about, well, I look at you in the last 2 years and how much you've changed. Your grace, your patience, your understanding of other people, other situations, and you're constantly bringing me into correction, saying, well, Brent, what if? What about this or this person? You know, don't judge them. Even our kids, our children, you know, sharing with us, Mom's changed. Even in the last 6 months, Mom's changed. That's exciting, just to have that capacity, you know, to take back, to be who you feel you are inside.
And another part that's extremely exciting to me is that trauma often is carried forward in lineage. And when you decide to be that transitional character in your lineage to heal, to say, hey, this stops with me.
Right. Which you did.
Which I did, which I didn't even know what I was saying. But when Rachel was born, I remember holding her. And I remember saying, this stops with me. And at the time, I thought I was talking about physical abuse. I had no idea really what I was saying, or what really I was assigning to my life. But the exciting thing that we've seen as I began to do the work is just how it's, it's, how do you say, rolled out to our children. And we see them healing and growing in different aspects. And like when you decide to do that in your lineage, it heals back and it heals forward.
Yeah, that's confusing because it doesn't make sense, but it works.
It's just the way it works.
Yeah.
So.
This is exciting. I'm excited to be on this journey with you. And I'm excited about taking this message out to everybody who hears it. Knowing that it can change. You know, so often I see change in other people, and I realize that it's my time now, it's your time now to reach out and be the change.
Be the change. And being the change starts with me. And really taking ownership of me.
Right.
And that involves a lot of courage, let's be honest. But what's powerful here is that you can do it. You know, I'm living proof that this is doable.
Yes.
And so that's how my heart has changed now, and really want to share that hope with others, and want to help assist people in their journey in that way to finding that connection with self, to feeling that connection with divine, and really then being in alignment with their purpose. So again, thank you for being with us, and if you followed all of our segments, we thank you for supporting us, and if there's anyone you feel that might be encouraged by this, feel free to push the share button, or if you have any questions about the coaching that I'm starting, again, just feel free to message, and we'll look forward to talking to you. And Mel and Brent conversations are really just beginning, so stay tuned, and we look forward to doing more of these.